Blessed be y'all, this is Jen Freeman. Well, I'm going to talk about happiness today. And what is happiness? And if you tuned in here thinking I'm going to give you some sort of succinct answer, well, you haven't watched enough of my videos yet to know what I'm about. But anyway, I've been thinking about happiness because everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. And, for most of my life, it was, I want to get off, I want to get high, and I want to be happy. And I kind of equated, having some sort of something to help me out with that as, if you get just the right proportion of it, it would, make you happy in some way. But, it never did. I mean, it just blocked out everything. And, messed with my emotions and everything else. But since I've been here, I have had a few times when I really felt very content. And I think a lot of happiness is more about contentment, just in acceptance. Because I was just like, it may not be the perfect day, it may not be the perfect this, that, or the other thing, but, it's not horribly painful, and like one day I remember I was going out to the garage to do some stuff, and it was kind of like, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool, because, I had something that I had planned to do, a project that I had planned to do, and, it wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cold, and I had something to do, and that was really good, because a lot of times I don't have something to do, I don't have something planned, and I have also noticed too, if there's too much of that sort of thing in my life, you know what they say about idle hands or the devil's workshop. If I get too much into stuff that not having anything really planned and constructive, I can go down some really dark places and end up doing stuff that I shouldn't be doing, stuff that is in the long run destructive and such. So I think that's and everybody wants to be happy. Every TV commercial tells you, "Oh, you'll be just wonderful if you buy this product." There's this Facebook ad, and I think Facebook must be hurting because they've been advertising really strong. And there's one ad that keeps popping up, and at the end it's got this couple, and it looks like she's riding on his back, and they're just deliriously happy. And I'm like, I've never been that happy on Facebook. I don't know what kind of drug they gave them to be that happy, but I don't think so. And I've noticed that with a lot of advertising too. You see these people that they just look deliriously happy, or more like just delirious. Let's put it that way, just delirious. And you think, yeah, I don't think this product's going to do that for me. And years ago, I didn't even think anything of it. And I think it's gotten a little bit worse, because I've watched some of these things they have on YouTube, classic TV commercials. And I don't think it was quite, it was there, yes. But it wasn't quite as obvious, as blatant as, I don't really have a word for it. But it was much more subtle and subdued than it is today. And today it's just blatantly like, I'm so happy. you know, and you can never get to that, and that's where you end up. You end up causing yourself suffering because you can never live up to these things. You can never live up to the hype that the world tells you, and you can never have the perfect life that they say you can if you buy this product or drive this car or live in this town or something like that. And so it programs you to be miserable. It programs you to be miserable. And it's only been in the last few years that I've been able to really deconstruct that and really see it for what it is. It's, like when I watch those classic TV commercials, in some ways I do get an attachment to them because it's like, I remember those products. And that's another thing. A lot of those products are pale imitations of what they used to be. I mean, they used, like, food stuff used to have real food in it, and it wasn't 10,000 chemicals. And nowadays you pick it up and you're lucky if it's 50% food or whatever. The rest of it's some sort of artificial something or other. And so those brands, those stores, those things like that, they don't exist anymore. And what's come along to replace them isn't any better. That gets me into a whole nother thing of, I still have attachments to stuff in the past, but that stuff does not exist anymore. It does not exist in the form that I attached myself to. That can of soup, that's something that Campbell's soup. It used to be a pretty good product, and I wouldn't eat the stuff anymore. I mean, it's got to be 10 years since I had any, and it wasn't good. And it was full of all kinds of chemicals and MSG and everything else, and I'm just like, nah. I make my own stuff now. Something I haven't talked about in a while is cooking stuff again. I know you don't generally tune into this channel for cooking tips, but I think as part of breaking free from the world is learning how to cook and how to feed yourself better, because the packaged stuff is not. You can't live on it. You can die on it for damn sure, but you can't really live on it. I mean, people exist on it, but existence is not living, and a lot of people die from it too. So I can't say I don't eat some sort of packaged stuff from time to time, but I limit it. When I go to the store, most of the stuff I got is from the produce aisle, and I see most people, it's all prepackaged stuff, and they might buy a head of lettuce or something like that to go with it, and they think they're doing good. But I've kind of gotten up the subject of happiness here, so I'm going to do one more video while I'm doing videos here about attachment, so stay tuned for that in the next couple of days. This is Jen Freemind. Blessed be y'all.